Okay, so you have this really dramatic 4-day military clash between India and Pakistan. It blows up, and then it's over, just like that. But here's the head scratcher. In the aftermath, both countries came out and declared a massive victory. So, how is that even possible? That's what we're going to break down.
And yeah, that's the real puzzle here, isn't it? This wasn't some minor border skirmish, but it also wasn't a full-blown months-long war. So what on earth actually happened? And how did two sworn enemies both walk away thinking they'd completely schooled the other? Well, it turns out the answer lies in understanding that modern conflicts, they're not just fought on one battlefield anymore.
So, first up, let's talk about the physical battlefield. You know, the world of jets, drones, and heavy artillery. From India's perspective, the goal here was way bigger than just hitting back. It was about sending a message so loud and clear that it would completely rewrite the rules of the game for good.
Okay, so the key moment you have to focus on is right there on day one, Operation Sindoor. See, in the past, Indian strikes always stayed within the line of control in Kashmir. But this time, they crossed the international border. That was a huge deal, a totally new, much more aggressive approach. And as you can see, things escalated fast. By day 3, we're talking hundreds of drones from both sides, pushing two nuclear powers right to the edge, which is when the US had to step in.
And this, right here, is the absolute key to understanding India's claim to victory. This wasn't about winning a 4-day fight. No, it was about creating a whole new strategic reality. The message was unmistakable. The old rules are out. From now on, any major terror attack coming from Pakistan is going to be treated as an act of war, completely changing the calculation for any future attacks.
And this quote, it just sums it all up perfectly. It translates to, now if you commit a terror attack, you will get a crushing response. That's the core of their new doctrine. For India, victory was achieved the moment they drew that new, very clear red line. They sent the message they wanted to send. And from their point of view, if Pakistan was so sure it was winning, why did it jump on that US-brokered ceasefire? But here's the twist. While the guns fell silent, a totally different kind of war was still raging. And according to Pakistan, they were winning it. Big time. This brings us to that second battlefield, the one that's fought not with missiles, but with information.
And this is what 21st century warfare looks like, folks. The fight on the ground with soldiers and hardware, that's only part of the story now. The other part, which is arguably just as important, is the info war. The battle for what people believe, the battle for public perception, both at home and around the world. And this is the arena where Pakistan put all its chips.
So what was the story Pakistan was telling? Well, it was a blockbuster. They pushed this narrative of a massive military triumph through every channel they had. We're talking claims of destroying Indian air bases, shooting down their best fighter jets, wiping out their air defense systems, even hacking India's power grid and saying India had to beg the US to stop the fighting. The goal was pretty clear. Paint a picture of a decisive David and Goliath victory.
So who's the mastermind behind this whole narrative machine? It's an organization called the ISPR. Now, on paper, it's just the military's PR department. But in practice, it's a very sophisticated, very effective information warfare unit. Its entire job is to create and spread a pro-military, anti-India story.
So how do they pull it off? Well, it's not just random propaganda posts. No, this is a systematic playbook, a strategy that's been perfected over decades.
It's a pretty clever 4-step process. First, you create the core narrative. India is the enemy, and the Pakistani army is the heroic protector. Then you hammer that story into the public consciousness at home using everything you've got: state media, movies, magazines, even school books. Step 3, you take it global, using social media armies and friendly news outlets to push your version of events. And the final goal? To control the story so completely that your version becomes the reality. And if you want proof of just how effective this is in the long run, look no further than this. Most historians agree the 1965 war was basically a stalemate. But in Pakistan, September 6th is Defense Day, a national holiday celebrating a heroic victory. That's not just rewriting history, it's the power of shaping a nation's entire collective memory for generations.
Which brings us right back to that million-dollar question. We've got two battlefields and two totally different claims to victory. To figure out who really got the upper hand, you have to first ask, which battle are we even talking about?
All right, let's just lay it all out side by side. You could argue India fought and won on the military battlefield. Its goal was strategic, to set a new, tougher standard for how it would respond to terrorism. And by that metric, they succeeded. Pakistan, on the other hand, probably knew it couldn't win a long, conventional war, so it focused all its energy on the narrative battlefield. Its objective was to control the story, and by that metric, it also succeeded, at least with its own people and its allies.
And that is the big takeaway here. What this whole episode shows us is that winning a war in the 21st century isn't just about what happens on the ground anymore. You can absolutely achieve your military goal, but still lose the war in the court of public opinion. The real winner might just be whoever tells the story that more people end up believing, whether it's true or not.
So it really leaves us with this one huge question for the future of conflict. As information itself becomes a weapon, you have to wonder, in the long run, what's more powerful? A successful military strike that nobody believes happened, or a fabricated victory that everyone accepts as the truth? That's something to think about.